If your car won't crank and it won't even turn over, these are exactly the same step-by-step checks that I use in my garage that I'm going to show you. This is before you even begin to think about spending a dime on unnecessary parts and a tow truck. Before you touch anything, I want you to make me a promise. We're not guessing today, we're going to test today. Here are the 4 rules that we're following today. Number 1. We're never going to replace a part without testing it first. If you didn't test it, you don't know it's bad. Number 2, we're always going to start with the battery. Most no starts are simply low voltage problems. Number 3, we're going to follow these steps in order. When people start skipping around and trying to figure it out and guess, you're going to waste a crap ton of money and a crap ton of time. Number 4, we are going to write everything down. The date, what the car is actually doing, what you tested exactly, and the exact result. That way it keeps you calm and focused without spiraling out of control. Follow these steps in order. It will help you. Okay, we're going into section 2 now. First question, what do you hear when you turn the key? Don't worry about the fancy terms or anything. Let's just talk about behavior. So option A is you turn the key and nothing happens. No sound, no click. Option B is you hear clicking, but is it one click or is it a bunch of rapid clicks? And option C, the engine does try to turn, but it's really slow and weak. All right, let's start with option A and we'll branch from there. You just turn the key and it's completely dead. That usually means is that the car isn't getting power where it usually needs it. Here's what you do. You're gonna grab a multimeter or a battery voltage tester. You can get one on Amazon. I've got that linked below. If you can wait for a shipment from Amazon, I suggest ordering it from there. Once you check that battery with the voltmeter or the multimeter, it's supposed to be about 12.6 volts. That's a fully healthy charged battery. Remember that. Look at the battery terminals, okay? Are they clean? Are they tight? Can you twist one of those battery cables by hand? If so, that's the problem. So you're gonna follow that big black ground cable, which is your ground wire from the battery. You wanna make sure it's nice and tight right up there to the engine and the body. There cannot be any movement there. So then what you're going to want to do is check the starter relay in your fuse box. Now, if you don't know where that is, you're either going to Google that or you're going to look in your manual and see if you can find the location of that. Now we're going to get down to option B. Option B is when you hear clicking. You turn the key and it's like click, 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 click. And what that means is low power. So what you're going to do now, check the battery while you're starting the car. If it drops below 10.5 when you crank it and try to start it, that means that the battery is weak. Time to get a new one. And if you're comfortable with this, you're going to do a low voltage test drop across your cables and connections. If your battery and your cables are still good, that probably means your starter is kicking the bucket. Option C is slow cranking. You're going to hear the engine turn, but it's lazy. It sounds like kind of slow and sluggish. The battery might be low, and if the battery's low under 12 volts at rest, that's not under load, that's at rest. Check those cables once again for corrosion or resistance. Okay, so that brings us to section 3. The engine cranks, but it won't start. If your engine is actually cranking, spinning like normal, but it just won't fire up, then it's time for us to move to a different branch of the tree. Any engine that cranks but won't start is missing one of 3 things: spark, fuel, or compression. That brings us to step number 1 of this section, and that is going to be checking for fuel. After you crank it for a few seconds, do you smell fuel at the tailpipe? When you turn the key but don't start it, just turn the key a little bit, do you hear the fuel pump kicking on in the back? It's like a 2-second little hum. What that sound is your fuel pump priming. If you don't hear it, or you're just not sure, what you're going to do next, check the fuel pump relay. This is where the OBD2 scanner is your friend. Scan for codes. See if the car is trying to tell you something. If you've got no fuel pressure, no pump sound, and the fuse relays are good, then what we do is suspect the fuel pump itself. Step number 2 for this section is going to be check for spark. The spark is what actually lights the fuel. Use a proper spark tester. Make sure your ignition coils are getting enough power. How you do that? If there's no spark, you're going to have to make sure that the coils have spark and ground. A super common culprit of this problem is the crankshaft position sensor. Remember that. That little guy right there tells the computer when to fire and when to send it fuel. If that's dead, the car is going to be cranking all day long and never start. Step number 3, Compression. This one is a little bit more advanced for those of you who wrench on cars a little bit. You have to have a special tool to be able to check the compression. So if your compression is low across the board, or if you're not willing to go buy a compression tester, this is where I usually tell beginners, go take your car into a mechanic. Because now we're talking about mechanical engine issues. Okay, so I know that this is a lot already. I know that this video has given you tons of valuable information, okay? And it's hard to remember all of it. So I'm going to give you a quick few numbers that you can screenshot for this video to help you solve your car problem. Fully charged battery should be about 12.6 to 12.7 volts. Around 12.4 is going to be weak. It needs charging. Below 12, you're probably looking at a dead battery. So if you charge it and it keeps dropping below 12.4 pretty quickly, then your battery's on the way out. Time for a new one. So if you stick with me through all this hard stuff through the end of the video, I will offer a quick guide for you to follow step by step. This would be so good to have in your phone or have in your glove box so you don't have to ever deal with this crap again. Because trust me, been there, done that a million times. I've been working on cars for 10 years, like I said before, and it is a nightmare when you come across this problem. Don't replace parts before it's unnecessary. That's like throwing $100 bills in a garbage can, lighting it on fire and walking away. I mean, what a waste of money. So all of this is going to be laid out in my no start beginner guide. So it's going to have a battery chart, starter symptoms, fuel basics, so that you can just look at it and go, okay, this is my next step. Easy to follow. As long as you follow it in the order, it's going to always tell you what's wrong with your car. I promise you. Okay, for section number 5, these are the tools that you're going to need. The good news is that you barely need any. You're going to need a basic multimeter, a basic socket set, an OBD2 scanner, and a simple test light. Okay, section 6 is what to say at the shop. Now, if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I need backup, man. This is tough. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. This is really confusing. If that's the case, you don't want to walk into a shop sounding helpless. Here's what you say. I tested the battery and starting circuit. It cranks strong but won't start. Could you please confirm the fuel pressure and crank sensor signal before replacing any parts? So now we're going to bust it down to section 7. This is one last thing that almost nobody does. And it's how beginners turn into competent troubleshooters, is tracking. Tracking means writing it down. Every time this happens, you're going to write down a list of things, and I'm going to list them right here on the screen for you. The date, exact symptoms, what you tested, what the results were, and what your next step is or was. If you do so, you're going to start seeing patterns. And then you're going to remember, the last time I did this, it was just a loose ground. Instead of it feeling like a brand new crisis every time, you have that stuff recorded. It's easy to go back to. It's easy to understand. All right, let's get to the guide. So inside my No Start Beginner Guide, I've got a tracking page that is laid out for you. Fill all that in as you're recording your data. Code readers are a wonderful thing. Don't get me wrong. But they will sometimes make a person go crazy, and they will make you go crazy because you're going to start thinking, what the hell is wrong with my car? Everything is wrong with it. I'm getting 12 codes at one time, and you start panicking. And you just got to remember that 7 codes, that doesn't mean 7 things are wrong with your car. That just means that one code is setting off multiple codes because that's how it works. So go grab the guide, print it out, come back to the video, and go through it with me step by step. Check the link in the description or the pinned comment. It'll help you solve your car problem. Okay, guys, you've got this. I'm Nicole Elise with Know How TV. If I can do it, you can do it too. Go diagnose that no start, and I'll see you in the next video.